Welcome back to Middle-earth Quest. It is Sauron's turn. This is the most fun because we're playing from Sauron's perspective, so we are going to get into it this time. Alright, what do we do? The first thing we do on the Sauron turn is we have the Hero Rally Step. Now, if heroes had any influence, which are these little tokens, in their space, all of it would be removed, but they don't, so we don't have to worry about that step. On to the next step, the Story Step. Now this is where the tokens move. The Free People's token always moves 2 spaces, and our tokens move based on plots, and unfortunately we don't have any plots because the rotten Aometh knocked our only starter plot off last time. So let's go up to the track, and we're going to be moving the Free People's token 2 spaces. So yes, that was a bummer for us, the Sauron player. The Free People's always moves 2, so ours are all stuck on the start space, but we have a cunning plan up at Mount Gundabad, because coming up next is the plot step. So now we do get to play 1 plot card, and we definitely are going to do that. And yes, the plot card we will be playing is this one, Orcs in the Mountains. Again, cool artwork, love it. It takes 3 favor to get rid of. It's going to be putting our red token 2 spaces every turn unless they somehow knock it out. Requires 8 influence within 1 space of Mount Gundabad. Now we made sure last time we pumped a whole bunch of influence. We have 3 here, we have 3 here, so that's 6. We have 7, 8, and we also have 2 here, 10. So we definitely have the requirements to play the Orcs in the Mountains plot. And it's the plot itself will be Mount Gundabad, which is good. It says, the Misty Mountains were crawling like ant hills. Orcs were issuing out of 1,000 holes. Alright, cool. So we're going to put that, I guess, in spot 1. And this will then be put at Mount Gundabad. Now, the nice thing about Mount Gundabad here is it has a spiky perimeter around it, so it is considered perilous. It is a perilous location. So if a hero decides they want to go there, we have a peril deck. We get to draw 3 of these cards and pick the one we want. If it applies, some of them don't apply, but if it applies, we get to choose which one we want, and we hammer the hero with it. Okay, that's it, I believe, for the plot step. I know everything's zoomed out quite a bit. We are on now to the event step. Okay, so we've played down our plot. We have things scheming. And now it's the event phase. Well, we're still, as you can see at the top of the board, we're still in stage 1. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So we're in stage 1, so we grab the stage 1 cards. I'm going to shuffle these every time, why not? Just so you think I'm not putting hose and stuff together. Now, as far as dominance goes, we talked about that in the first turn. We were tied. This time, the Free People's players have dominance because their token is farther along the track towards the finale. So we will be drawing 3 of these cards, and we will be using the one that has the lowest number that applies. Some of them may not apply. So let's take a look. We have a 7, a 3, 4, and a 7. So we will be doing the 3. Actually, they all apply. I don't think they have anything to do. So trust in friendship. Alright, we're going to zoom down on this card. The other ones, of course, just get discarded. They will not be applied to anything. As I get organized here, trying to get organized anyway. Alright, let's zoom down on this card and see what it is. Alright, so it says trust in friendship. I have goodwill to the elves, but you ask much. This is a strange friendship. Treebeard from the 2 Towers. It says each hero loses 1 favor. Yes. And places it on this card. They both actually have 1 favor, and they both lose it. I love it. Take that away from him. Then Sauron gives this card to any hero. After this hero explores a location containing a character or another hero, he gains this favor and then discards this card. Oh, that's pretty cool. We are going to... Oh, hang on. Lake Esgaroth. We're giving this to Aometh because he is a long ways away from characters. So we're going to give that to Aelmeth. So we have to put Dane 2 at Lake Esgaroth, and we have to put 1 favor in Osgiliath. So let's go ahead and get that set up, and we're going to give this card to Aelmeth. Alright, so we're going to be putting Dane the Second, who either 2 favor or train twice at Lake Esgaroth right there. Nicely far away from pretty much everybody, although we have Rivendell right here with Barivor. He could probably get over there, but he'd have to go through a perilous location. Oh, I love it. Alright, and then we have a favor to put in Osgiliath. And Osgiliath is right here, just south of Minas Tirith. Alright, that's the end of our event step. It is the action step, which means as Sauron we get to do 2 actions. So let's go over to our action area, figure out what we want to do. Alright, it's action step time, and we're going to be putting 2 tokens. We have 2 actions we can perform. I think we are going to start off by doing this one, moving. So we can command up to 3, because there's a 3 there, minions / monster tokens. You may not place more than 1 monster token. And I think we want to place a monster token. So we can basically move 2 minions and place 1 monster token, because that's really our options. So let's figure out if we want to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the mouth of Sauron. He is going to start, whoops, as I knock everything around, he's going to start moving his way north, I think. So we're going to move him here. Now we just ignore all the symbols. They just move 1 space, unless their character says otherwise. Like, for instance, the Black Serpent, Lord of Harad, because he can move 2 spaces for activation. So that was, we're moving Mouth of Sauron there. That's 1 movement. And then we'll be moving, we'll be moving the Black Serpent. And I think we'll just move him 1 right here. He might as well hang out in Osgiliath with that favor token. So if any hero gets any bright idea to come and scoop up the favor token, they're going to have to tangle with the Black Serpent, which is good. So basically, as the Sauron player, we want to use our minions and monsters to just mess over the heroes, block their paths, cause them as much issue as possible. And with that in mind, we do get to place 1 monster, and I have a good idea. I think we're going to place it in the High Pass, which is just off from Rivendell, to try and dissuade Barivor from moving. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so our cunning plan, we already have the High Pass as perilous because we have 3 influence there, but I'm going to put a monster token here. Well, how does that work? Well, you look here, they have green for Misty Mountains. I think it's Misty Mountains. So we actually, for the green, we have Mirkwood or Misty Mountains. Now, we have a whole bunch of these tokens that have, of course, the symbols on them. So these are monsters that can show up. Mirkwood or Misty Mountains, I'll just shuffle around. Let's grab 1 randomly. I haven't looked at it, but we can look at it because we're the Sauron player. So we find, ooh, it's a monster. It's a giant spider. Love it. So we're going to place that right here. Now you can place monsters in locations that have peril. Or not peril, that have influence. This one happens to be perilous. So what happens now? If Barivor gets the bright idea to move to that location, we as Sauron get a choice. We can either have him deal with a peril, which means we would draw 3 of these peril cards and choose 1 to slap Barivor with, or we can activate the monstrous giant spider. And you know what? Let's take a look at the giant spider, because I think they're pretty deadly. Giant spider. So here's the giant spider. I don't know if that's going to focus. 7 fortitude, 5 strength, 1 wisdom, paralyzing venom. When you deal at least 2 damage with a melee card, your opponent must randomly discard a card from his hand. Okay, not as bad as I thought, but he used a behemoth deck, and those cards are deadly. So that's really good. Let's hope Barivor gets the bright idea to move on to that spot. All right. We have moved 2 minions. We have placed 1 monster. We still have an action to go, so let's get to our next action. Alright, we have 1 more action to perform. I think we better get some more cards. So we're going to play this here too. So draw 2 shadow cards and 2 plot cards, and then we have to place all but one of the plot cards on the bottom of the plot deck. So basically what it means is we get to draw 2 shadow cards, we keep them, and we get 2 plot cards, and we get to choose which plot card to keep. So the 2 shadow cards off the top of our deck that we get are, what do we get for plot cards? A new power is rising. Play during your action step. Which is, I guess, kind of right. I don't know if you can play the cards the second you draw them. I don't think you can. Play 2 influence in each location of Mordor. Wow. Or place up to 2 monster tokens. 2 monster tokens? Oh, I am going to check the rules and see if you can play these the second you draw one of 2. Second you draw them. I don't think you can, but maybe you can because we're still in the action step. I don't know. I'm going to double check that. His arm has grown long. Play after hero enters a non-haven location. This location is treated as if it's perilous till the end of the hero's turn. Oh, these are both awesome. We also already have dark powers, which is play at the start of combat. Now, keeping in mind we can only play one of these cards per turn. So on the Sauron turn we can play 1 card, on Aelmeth's turn we can play 1 card, on Baravor's turn we can play 1 card. So for instance, we cannot play, if Baravor moves, we can't play this, making something perilous, and then he has to fight the spider. We can play the second card. Nope, just 1 card a turn. All right, I'm going to check the rules and see. Oh, let's do plot cards, then I'll check the rules on that. So we grab 2 plot cards, and we get to keep one of them. The other one goes on the bottom. So we have Osgiliath invaded. Ooh, that's the same symbol, which is what we kind of want. Requires 1 monster token in Osgiliath. And we'll be able to place a monster token in Osgiliath because we have the Black Serpent there, and he says may move 2 locations. Monster tokens may always be placed within 1 space regardless of influence. So we don't even need influence on Osgiliath as long as he's there. So we could do this, and it moves the red marker along, which is actually what we want. Oh, I like it. Okay, or the other one is loss of an heir, and it would move the black token along. Requires a monster token or minion within 1 space of the affected location, within 1 space of Minas Tirith or Edoras. Okay. So where does this get placed? Oh, it would get placed at Minas Tirith. We could do either of these, but this one is going to move that along, so I think we're going to keep the Osgiliath invaded, and this one goes to the bottom of the deck. Alright, let me check the ruling on can we play shadow cards the second you draw them, because if you can, oh, I am so going to do that. Alright, I'm still checking on that rule, but however, when you place the 4th token, action token down on the Sauron actions, the other 3 come off. I forgot that, but I just remembered it now. Alright, I'm doing some more checking. I'd love to be able to play a shadow card right now, but I don't know if by playing my second action and performing my second action, we are done with the action step. I'm going to do some double checking and come right back. Alright, after consulting the web for like 20 minutes, I finally concluded that the Sauron action step concludes after Sauron has decided not to do any more actions. So we did the 2 actions on his action board, but we can also play a card that says play during your action step. So basically what it means is Sauron can play actions until he has no other actions left. So one of the actions, the second one we did, was pulling cards into our hand, and now we can play a card that says play during your action step because we've decided to play it. So yes, as far as I can tell, without specifically seeing a rule in the rule book or the FAQ that says contradictory to what I'm going to do, when you draw a shadow card during your second action, if you only have 2 actions, then yes, you can play it because it says play during your action step. So we're still currently in the action step. Sauron's going to play A New Power is Rising. And we are going to go ahead and take the second option, place up to 2 monster tokens using normal placement rules. Yes, more monsters on the board. Exactly what we want. Alright, the first monster I'm going to put in Osgiliath, because why wouldn't we? And how can we do that? Because we have the Black Serpent is there, and he says monster tokens may always be placed within 1 space, regardless of influence. Regardless of influence. So I'm pretty sure that I got to double check that rule, but I think we can put a monster down in Osgiliath. I got to double check that as well. All right, here's how I'm going to rule it, and I think it's correct. I can't find a definite answer on Board Game Geek or anywhere, but I think it's pretty obvious. It says, so for the Black Serpent, may move 2 locations when commanded to move. We know that already. Monster tokens may always be placed within 1 space, brackets, regardless of influence. So I guess because he's such a bad character, you can always place monsters regardless of influence, which means there doesn't have to be any, because normal rules for placing monsters is you have to place them on a location with influence. He negates that rule by saying regardless of influence. So yes, we can place a monster on his space or within 1 space of him. It's just not going to be able to move unless it can move to a space with influence. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to be placing 2 monsters down on the board. Oh, all this agonizing. Okay, we're going to place a monster on Osgiliath because he is right there. So we should be able to do it. So we're going to be finding the Rohan Gondor monster stack. I'm just going to randomly grab one. So 60% of these tokens are actual monsters. 40% of the tokens are not. So there's 10 tokens for each pile. 6 of them are monsters. 4 of them are not. This one is not a monster. Well, anyway, it looks like one. So just a little bit of a deterrent for the heroes. They might go, oh, geez, there's a monster there. Maybe we don't want to go and collect that favor. It's all good. All right, we have a second monster to place. All right, the second monster I want to place is right here with our plot at Mount Gundabad. So we've got 3 influence. It's perilous, but you know what? Let's throw a monster there too. So we're going to go ahead and it's the Grey Mountain Rundar deck area. So that is a white. So we're just, once again, we're going to randomly grab one. Is it an actual monster? It is a monster. Oh, what the heck is that? I'm not even sure what it is, but I love it. We're going to put it there. So if any crazy hero decides they want to come here, it's perilous. We have a monster. It's all good. All right, that now will conclude our action step. So the final step for the Sauron turn is just for our heroes to drop their cards. All right, so the fortitude for Aelmeth is 6, so he gets to draw 6 cards from his life pool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, adding them to his already 2 cards. So he's got his life pool starting to dwindle a bit. He might need to rest at some point. So he's drawn his cards. Up next, Barivor to draw his cards, and that should be it. All right, Barivor, who has a upgraded fortitude of 7, he is now going to be drawing 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess his hanging out in Rivendell really paid off for him. So he's going to have 10 cards in his hand next time. And there's no limit to how many cards you can have in your hand as the hero. All right, we're going to zoom out and wrap up our episode for today. All right, that's going to wrap up our episode for today. So we got some more monsters out on the board, or maybe they're not monsters. And we have got influence going on as Sauron. We've played some cards. We got a new plot hatched way up at Dol Guldur. Mount Gundabad. Dol Guldur is here. So Mount Gundabad's got a plot, a monster. It's perilous. We have a monster and a peril here. If Barivor tries anything funny, I think things are looking okay. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes. Middle-earth Quest. We're playing from the Sauron perspective. And we're going to crush these silly little human heroes, we hope. Well, I don't know if they're human or not. They're Numenorian, or I don't know what they are. But anyway, we're going to crush them. So thanks so much. I hope you join me tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Aelmeth's turn.